Yo, it's Mike Sick here. Just got another high off life freestyle can in the bag. To my right, I'm sitting with Caleb Colossus, man. What's going on, brother?
Good, man. I'm happy to be here, dog.
For sure, man. Glad to have you pull up with bars, man. Let's just dive straight into it, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from. Take us to the baby pictures, man.
Man, Caleb Colossus, born and raised in Atlanta, specifically Stone Mountain. I've been here my whole life. Been doing this rap shit for a minute. I finally was able to start actually recording and stuff. Probably like, I would say 2 years ago was the first time I actually released something. And ball dropped and it's got moving pretty fast.
Yeah, snowballing. Okay, so take us back though, man. Like you from Stone Mountain. You was born in Stone Mountain? Or
born in Decatur.
Born in Decatur.
And I moved as a youngin'. And been in Stone Mountain my whole life. Been in Atlanta my whole life. This is my home.
Okay, yeah, man. Tell us about your family. You got siblings.
Yeah, I got a brother. My mom is actually, she was born in Barbados, and my dad was born in Haiti, and they moved and met each other in New York. Ended up coming down and had me and my brother. So I got the foreign ties, I guess you could say. A little bit of island in me, and yeah.
No doubt. So was your family big into music at all?
No, it's crazy. Like my parents don't have a creative bone in their body like at all. My mom works in healthcare. My dad works in finance. Like they have no creativity at all, and it just I don't know where it came from. I really don't know. But I've always loved music ever since I was a kid. Growing up 5, 6, watching MTV, jams and pop stations and all that stuff, and it just blossomed out of nowhere, really.
For sure. So did you find music or did music find you?
I would say music found me. I just was always I just was always moved by music. So if we were in a car listening to radio, or I wake up on a Saturday and watch music videos or whatever, it just came to me. I remember like the first music I ever listened to was probably like some crazy like Britney Spears or something, Backstreet Boys or whatever, and then it eventually turned to hip hop and stuff like that. And my first album I ever had was Speaker Box, Love Below, Outkast. Obviously grew up heavy on a lot of Atlanta artists, and then it really turned into what it is now. And I really fell in love with it. I'm a huge Kanye fan. Kanye's really inspired, me, creatively, with music and just, in general. And, and it's just turned into what it is right now.
Did you have a oh shit moment with music or with hip hop where it was like, oh shit, I want to do that, or oh shit, I can do it better, or oh shit, if I did it, I would do it like that?
So I would say when I realized I had something, I remember when Facebook just started getting popping. A lot of people in like middle school and early high school would like post raps in the form of like it was like a journal post or something like that on Facebook. And I had a couple friends that do it, and I was like, I feel like I could do that, and I would do mine, and I would post some, and people would be commenting kind of like, yo, this is kind of fire, this is kind of clever or whatever. And it at that point on, I had a homie that made beats when I was in 9th, 10th grade. And we would just start rapping in the basement, and it was just kind of like other people confirming it for me even before I even knew it was in myself. A lot of people just kind of like, yo, you should really pursue this. Like you got something. It's not just something like a hobby. I really see something. So it was really just friends and family and people around me kind of pushing me and telling me like, yo, you should probably pursue this. You might get somewhere with it.
No doubt. So do you still work with that producer that you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. On and off. We're not as close as we used to be, but still, yeah. I had a lot of the beats that were actually on my project I got from stuff I've had 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
And I've gotten a lot of all the producers that I've met them at like a different phase in my life, and I'm really like loyal to my producers. My other producer Chichi that did a lot of my project too. I met him in college, and at the time we played football together. He wasn't even really into producing until probably about a year or so ago, and I was like, oh shit, bro's nice. So
it's crazy how that happens, man. The people in your life
right.
that friends come and go like seasons, things that people are into come and go like phases, and so it's sick to to be able to rock with the people that you've been rocking with since day one, and they still share common interests. So they're still your friends, and they're still interested in the same things that you're interested in, and you can make history together. Because
Yeah.
2 years isn't a lot. Of
Yeah,
time.
it's crazy. I'm a real like I love rewarding and sticking with people that have always been with me. My management went play football with me in college, too. So I feel like people that will work for you and do the best for you are people that know you, have been with you. I'd rather do that than just be around people that I've never met. I don't really know. I don't know their integrity, who they are as a person.
Right.
So I like rocking with people I've been with.
Right. How do y'all motivate each other to do better? For them to motivate you on your craft and yours, on them, on their business.
Man, it's just being. I really think it just comes down to being honest with each other. I think, in a sense, we're all self motivated, so it's almost like we meet each other at the point of like, you go do what you got to do on your own, and then when you're ready to present it to me, I'm gonna be there to give you the feedback and whatever you need, kind of thing. And what I love about most of my friends, honestly, is like my friends get to hear my stuff before the world does, and a lot of times they're like, "Yo, that's fire," and then they're the same that are like, "Yo, that's just not it." Like,
Yeah.
I would say I don't have a lot of yes men around me or people that just say stuff to just make me feel good, and I think that's really just been really successful for me, because I've had music in the chamber for a while that I thought it was dope, and I was like, okay, I feel like I released this, released that, and they're like, yo, no, don't do that right now. Like that's not the one, or
Right.
That's not it. And it's been real beneficial to me, man.
No doubt. So how do y'all find that balance between, doing the things that you have to do, as your own person, in life, and then having to do the things that's necessary to, create your momentum and do what you have to do to serve one another, you know what I'm saying, in music and business. How do y'all find that balance? And is there ever a conflict in that?
No, I feel like, and the one thing I try to pride myself on is I feel like I'm really easy person to work with, for one, and then I think is when you share ideas and you brainstorm and you come from a place where y'all all want to see each other, succeed. It's easier to find a common ground and be on the same page, because you know that people don't have as much self-interest and other stuff. It's kind of like a common goal. So it's really not hard to motivate each other, to see each other, get where they need to be. Really, it's not.
Okay, no doubt. So, if you've just been releasing music in the last 2 years, I think it's safe to say that you kind of started releasing music during the streaming era. Like,
Right.
It wasn't, a SoundCloud era or anything like that. So your first project and everything you've been doing is streaming, and then I'm assuming YouTube.
Yeah.
Right.
So, actually, my first single came out May 17th, which is my birthday, 2018, and I had just graduated college. I had been trying to release music for so long, but I was like really trying to find exact what was a perfect single or whatever at the time. And looking back on it's funny, but it had like traction at my college, or where I was at, what I considered to be traction. And I was getting a lot of love from people around me, and I ended up doing a video and ended up doing another single after that, probably I would say 2-3 months after that, and then the show came like 2 months after that. So I only had 2 singles prior to Rhythm and Flow. Yeah.
Okay, so I do want to get into this show, but let's rewind a little bit though. Like the fact that you dropped something, during the streaming in the streaming era that we're in right now.
Right.
Let me rephrase that. You dropped your first 2 singles during the streaming era, the era that we're in now. Take us from, the beginning of that and how that created momentum, and just building to where you're at today, because you have some streams. You're doing
Right.
good numbers on streaming. Was it always like that? Did it grow? And then when you got on the show on Hustle and Flow, did that like spike it from there? Just bring us through that for somebody that wants to release music in this era.
It's crazy. It's just I think obviously you gotta get to a point where you get the platform, because when I was first dropping stuff, my first singles, I was not getting nearly the hits. I was probably getting like 1,000 streams, and was thinking it was really, really big. But I feel like it's just sticking with it and having like consistent content, and then hopefully getting in the right situation where it blossoms into a bigger and a larger fan base. But because I think the coolest thing is, I knew prior to doing the show I knew when I was at the show that people were gonna go back and look at my old stuff at some point. Like they're
Right.
gonna go look, and that's how you build a fan base. Is like people want to see who you are as an artist, what you've made in the past, and they want to grow with you. So it was just one of those things where I knew that over time, I knew that if I just kept making music, I knew that it was I was climbing stairs, and
Right.
I knew that whatever I made was just really just a stepping stone. I just didn't see it happening as
Right.
fast as it did.
Got you. So with those two records that were on streaming before the show, and you said you got a couple thousand plays on that. What was the strategy at that time, and what were you doing to get those results?
It's crazy. I didn't have a strategy. I knew I always had it in my mindset that I wanted to release something while I was still in college, because I feel like especially if anybody's gonna support, it's like college age kids. It's the people that you go to class with, that you party with, that you're out with, people that see you on a regular. So I knew, I was like, I want to get something out while I'm still on campus, while I'm still doing stuff, and I just released that. That was a little more planned, and then I had a video come out probably, I would say, like 2 months after that.
Right.
But the next single, I just kind of just released it. It wasn't planned. But sometimes I realize sometimes the best things are not planned. You just kind of just gotta wing it and kind of go with it sometimes, and follow your heart, follow your gut, and it kind of just happens.
No doubt. So your network had a direct effect with your output as
Right.
far as the numbers and the results
Right.
that you've seen. I think that's a big lesson for a lot of artists. They think that they can just put it out there, or they fail to consider, like, okay, who's already checking for me?
Right.
And then there's ways that you can capitalize off of that, where it's like, okay, you're naturally, organically getting shares, views, likes just by the people around you. And that includes your family, your people that you work with, the people that you go to
Right.
school with, the people at your job. And that can create momentum and inertia from there, it sounds like.
And another thing is, and it's no shade to SoundCloud or anybody that makes music on SoundCloud, but I always told myself when I had a first release that it had to be on platforms, because I'm very just conscientious of how people move and how they operate as fans, and people are lazy. People don't want to go out of their way to find something, especially if it's your first or second thing. And you're not established. People want easy access. They want to be able to just type you in and find you without having to click on a link and go to this and that. So I was always telling people I was around, I was like, this has to be on platforms. People have to be able to download it easily. It has to be able to be in their library. They can't go and have to go and search for it every single time they listen to it, because they're
Right.
gonna be tuned out.
Right.
And
you
I
got to be discoverable.
Right. It's just really just I always thought about just packaging, and if you want to just be separate yourself as an artist, or be considered elite in the artist, you have to move like you're already established. And I know it's very rare that you're gonna see a big time artist that has a big time song or something that's just on those platforms. So
Right.
I always try to move like that.
For sure, for sure. Okay, so you had a few thousand plays with the two singles that you dropped before being on the show. You get on the show, you do your thing. I want to talk about being on Rhythm and Flow, and then from there, your streaming numbers spike. I know, like Michelangelo's 1 point something million, almost
Yeah.
2 million. Let's talk about, how did you get on Rhythm and Flow, and when did you see those numbers spike?
So the craziest thing is, like, I know people have like these crazy stories about how they get on show, and mine was like the least like attractive way. I literally just I remember when the show was like announced. I remember like Chance and Cardi and Tip were basically like post on Instagram like from their notes, and was like, yo, there we have a show coming out, Rhythm and Flow, tag a rapper that who should be on it, blah blah blah. And I remember, I remember this vividly. It's crazy. I was driving on I-20. I was going to work, and I hadn't posted anything that day, like that was, or recently. So I had like a lot of mentions and like a lot of DMs, and I'm like, what is this? So I go look, and a lot of friends and stuff are tagging me, people that I went to college with, and we're like, yo, you should sign up for this. This could be a big opportunity for you. And I remember getting home and kind of like, because I was at a time where I was like trying to find a job and stuff like that. And I remember being like, yo, like this isn't gonna work. But I remember I half did it, went in, like posted a link or whatever to my music and, did a submission.
Right.
And like 2 weeks later I got a random, number, almost didn't pick up. But it was a producer like, yo, we saw your stuff, we really like it, we want you to, kind of audition and come, and just happened.
No doubt. So how was that audition process? What was that like? Was that local? Did they fly you out, or what
No, so my audition was actually, what was the barbershop and the thing. So they told us, I remember specifically like them just telling us like, yo, come to this location kind of thing. You're kind of like, where am I going into? Like
in Georgia. This was
yeah,
in Georgia.
yeah, it was in Atlanta. And I remember the first person I met was Troy on the show, and we went in a barbershop, and they didn't really tell us what was going on, who was gonna be there, and they're kind of just like, just have a rap ready to go, and we ended up, Killer Mike was there, T.I. surprised us, and I mean, ever since then it's been crazy.
No doubt. So it was like, and they taped this. This was what was on
Yeah,
the show
yeah.
we
So
saw.
it was not
Okay.
even. It was real. Like it wasn't scripted. We weren't no reactions. We didn't know they were coming. Like we had no idea. We just kind of walked into it. They were like, "Yo, come here." We got there, and it was just like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, okay. So they knew. They knew they.
They
wanted
knew.
you
We
on
didn't
there.
know.
Okay,
Yeah, we
they knew
didn't
they
know.
wanted you on there. So yeah, so that was part of the show. You was on there, and tell us, and I do again want to get back to when the streaming numbers spiked, but tell us about that experience. Like, what was it like doing the show, and also as a, you're on these shows. You're not just an artist shooting your shot. You're also a talent
Right.
on their show, or you're, and let's say for the sake of the conversation, an actor that's on the show that you should be treated as such, right?
Right.
Did they treat y'all good? On
No,
the show,
no,
did you
for
make you feel comfortable? And what was it
For
like?
sure.
being around those
I
MCs?
was really nervous going into the show, just like reading, contracts and stuff like that. I was just kind of nervous that, because I didn't have a sample of anything to look at, because it's a new show. So I didn't know if it was going to be, real world, love and hip hop. I didn't know if it was going to be more American Idol, X Factor. I didn't know if it was going to be somewhere in between. We didn't know. So I was just kind of nervous of how it was going to be, because I wanted to come for the music. I didn't want all the extra, hoopla or whatever. I just wanted to come, showcase my talents and, get on.
Yeah.
And it was, man, it was hands down the best experience of my life. Just from, just seeing people, people you're meeting. I'm really close to everybody that I was on the show with. The producers were incredible. Tip, Cardi, and Chance were incredible. It was just like, it was a dream experience. It really, looking back on it, really just felt like a dream. The whole time it was like, I was out there for like a month, month and some change, and the whole time, every day, I was like waking up like, yo,
Yeah.
making sure this is
real.
like real.
Yeah,
But
that's what's up. It sounds like the producers did a good job of letting you be you and making sure that you were comfortable to
100%.
create and deliver.
right, 100%. They just, it was just, I would say this, as great as it was the most stress I've ever been in under my life. I played football my entire life, played sports, ran track, and I never felt nervous like that ever, because whether you admit it or not, every round, other people might not say it, but every round that we did, you have to have in the back of your head as a conscious person, like, yo, the whole world's gonna see this. Like, this is going in 100-something countries. So if you mess up, like, they're gonna see it. Like, you have to think like that. Like, if you don't think like that, if you can't, see the potential of failure when you're doing it, there's no potential to be successful. You have to, weigh both of them. So I was always just kind of like very conscientious of that. Up to that point, I had never, performed on a stage like ever. And
Oh, really?
Nah, never. Like, not at a
Never
bar.
done a show before.
Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. Like, when I tell people I'm like new, I was really genuinely new to it. And it was all of the, the mixtures of first, the mixtures of, obviously you're in Hollywood. Like, I had never been to Cali before. It was just all of everything, these are 3 Grammy Award winning artists like judging you, there's eyes in the crowd. It was just a lot. It was a lot, but it was great, because you can't go through an experience like that and not leave with confidence and more pep in your step than you've ever had before.
That's insane.